Hello, everyone. This is Felicia Bender, the practical numerologist, with your numerology forecast for the sixth personal year for March 2023. So, before we get off and running, I'm going to offer you a little bonus information as we key into the month. So here's something to think about. If your life path number, so if you know your life path number, and well, let me back up. Do you know your life path number? If you're new to numerology, you might not know your life path number. If that is the case, and you're like, I don't even know what that is, I just stumbled on this video. If that is the case, then I would strongly suggest going to the description box below. There is an indicator there of how to calculate your life path number. You can go to my website, feliciabender.com, and there's a calculator there. Just oodles of free information about finding out about your life path, which is a very significant part of numerology and often what brings people to numerology, right? And so if you know your life path, you will know that when you experience a personal year, that is the same as your life path number, or I would even add, even has significance when it is the same as one of your other core numbers in your chart, where the placement is important there, that it has added significance. So it's a very special period in which you get double the pleasure and double the triggers, double the opportunities, double the experiences that really bring in these lessons and bring in everything that you are meant to be doing and learning on your life. And during this life path, it's really going to bolster that and support you during that personal year very specifically. It's very laser focused that way. So let's say that you are a 6 life path and or a master 33-6, and you are in a 6 personal year because you're watching the 6 personal year forecast right now. So if you're a 6 or a 33-6, this has a little bit more special resonance for you this year. It's going to put you to the test. It's going to ask you to level up in your life path purpose here, those elements and themes of your life path, which have to do with, in the case of the 6, has to do with taking on a healthy dose of responsibility, right? With the modulation there, not too responsible, not irresponsible, just right, kind of like Goldilocks and the 3 bears, right? It's got to be just right. So it's also about relationships with love, with your patterns around that. It has to do with home, family, children, your domestic life. All of those things are really highlighted. It's about using your creative genius in whatever way you have it. 6s always are incredibly creative, and being of service in the world. And it's about banishing perfectionism and this overweening sense of control. So these are things that are all going to come in at a higher level of intensity during a 6 personal year if you are a 6 life path, or if you have a 6 prominently placed in your core numbers. So if you don't know your life path number, or you don't know, maybe you do know your life path number, you don't know your core numbers, you can go and get a full chart if that is something that is of interest to you. You can go to feliciabender.com. Just wanting to offer you to up-level your experience here. And if you're really into numerology and love the life path and the personal year, then it's going to be even more significant when you know the other more important numbers in your chart. With that said, if you are experiencing a 6 personal year, March is a number 9 personal month for you. So March is a 9. Trust me on this. I've done the math for you. Don't want to confuse matters more, but it's a 9. It's a 9-month. And so you've got 4 weeks of the number 9 kind of integrating and guiding you during the month of March. So the reflection here, the topic, is that this really is the month to surrender to the flow of things that are out of your immediate control, which is oftentimes pretty much everything, right? If we're really honest, we're That's what it's all about. So the 9 is really gonna come into play, and it's gonna ask you to go with the flow, to let go of the reins, see where things land in the next 4 weeks. So acceptance is a key feature for you in March. When we see the 9 personal month in your 6 personal year, the surrender or transformation that you experience this month will be closely related to the themes of your 6 personal year, which, as you, I'm sure, recall by now, are home, family, responsibility, relationship evaluation. And again, that relationship evaluation, the apex of that is your relationship with you. As corny as it sounds, it's a real evaluation time about who you are now, what you want in your life, who you want in your circle, and who you don't want in your circle. All of those things are the foundation of what's occupying your mind, body, and spirit in a 6 personal year. So when a 9 shows up in a cycle, as it is for you in March for these 4 weeks, it is a time for letting go. It is a time for surrendering to the flow of things that are absolutely out of your immediate control. So I always like to think of that when the 9 shows up, it's a time to not go after things in such a rigorous way. It's a time to kind of stand still for a moment and allow what is going to fall away, and allow what's going to come to you rather than reaching. Okay. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it will to you. It's 4 weeks of just letting things come to you rather than you pursuing them. So you can expect your 9 experience to reside most closely again in the relationship aspects of your life in March. The universe is going to be helping you out and galvanizing your ability to change out what's not quite working for you. And this is just 4 weeks after all. So it's just going to tidy things up, maybe do a little mop up for you in your life. Perhaps you're on the receiving end of this. Maybe you find out what's not working for another key player in your life, and they let you know, or it affects you in some way. So this can be a friend, it could be an intimate partner, a colleague, anything work related or personal. It's wherever it falls for you. So it might be someone who comes to the table with a different agenda or a new want and need within the partnership. This could even be your kids coming in and wanting something different. So open up your mind and think about how this could show up for you personally in whatever you're working with during this 6 personal year that you're in. So around March 19th or the 28th, take some time to examine some family related issues, and you might consider how you'd like to see them either conclude or grow into something, maybe something more positive or just something a little different than they already are. So March offers you many of these micro moments that are designed to move you toward closure around certain subjects so that April can bring in some new fresh vitality, some new experiences that wouldn't fit into your life or wouldn't be, they wouldn't show up unless you get rid of what needs to make an exit this month. Okay. So whatever you're getting rid of is going to, something else better and more in alignment with you is going to take its place. Beginning, numerologically speaking, that door can open and that beginning can happen next month in April. So March is really buzzing with experiences that relate to your 6 personal year themes of commitment, love, home, a number of matters that have been pending, maybe kind of hanging around, hovering on the hoverboard since the beginning of the year are likely to be resolved this month to come to a conclusion. And that can be anything. And that can be something that seriously, it always sounds so ominous when we talk about the 9. And I always make sure to put that into perspective. It could be a time where you've been working on a project diligently and it comes to its fruition this month, with the the champagne and the, and the congratulations sort of thing. So it's not an ominous, horrific letting go of something. It can be just a conclusion, something that finalizes, so that then you can regroup and be open to what's next, right? It's always about what's next. So you might even conclude some business affairs between March 9th and the 27th, bringing you an unexpected sense of a relief and closure. So, of course, March brings in some added intensity. So, when that nine shows up, it's really nudging you and sometimes even forcing you toward these closures, toward the completions. So, prep yourself for facing what needs to be faced, making decisions that will ultimately benefit you. It's time to take a look at that bigger picture, right? And allow these things to hash out. So know that the energy of the six supports your longer term vision and your creative and visionary pursuits. So that might come into play as you're working with the elements of the regrouping and the resituation that the nine energy can bring you this month. This can be a moment where you find you have a stronger intuitive sense about what needs to be released or what needs to go where, right? So intuition can really be heightened during that nine period of time when you are when you're in your game. And what I mean by that is the nine is all about it's a higher level of integrity, of empathy, of compassion. When you're riding in that wave or with that energy or with that attitude, the more brilliant your intuitive sense can become. So, the completion or solidification of an important relationship around March 18th, this could possibly be with a lover, with a friend, business associate, can bring some intense emotions around it. So, the entire year will press you to dig deep within yourself to make decisions about what stays and what goes. That's the sixth personal year all year long. Should I stay or should I go? Right? So this starts with you, and you. Who are you? What do you want? Are you happy with your relationship with the most important person in your life, which happens to be you? I am going to beat this drum all year long. You might get tired of it, but it is true. It's a very deep exploration of you and where you are and where you find yourself, mind, body, and spirit at this time in your life. So sometimes the number nine gets a bad rap when you experience it in a cycle, as you are with these 4 weeks in March, because the nine does demand surrender. It's kind of like an astrological eclipse or a retrograde period. I know I'm mixing metaphors there, but it really is. And what I mean by that, it pushes transformation. It's just inevitable. So you can resist it or you can open to it. So it reveals the real deal underneath the current facade, whatever that might be. And it strips away what needs to be power washed from our lives. So sometimes it can feel abrupt, it can feel hard, it can produce some pain, some grief, some anxiety as we navigate those changes. Yet this energy can also produce the most, and I'm emphasizing this here, the most profound magic when we are truly ready and willing to let go of what we're being asked to let go of. So it can be a time where dreams come true, where yet we've got to change ourselves and our behaviors in order for change to happen. How logical and simultaneously how ironic, right? Because if you think about it, we usually really want something to change, but we don't want anything about what we're doing to change. We just want it somehow magically happen without us actually changing anything that we are doing. So it's kind of comes I'm going to, put that out there in terms of, let's say we're unhappy in our marriage. The solution is probably more or less either to go to counseling and figure that out or not to be married to that person with whom we're currently married. So if you're unhappy, Maybe this is when the marriage dissolves, right? If we're unhappy where we're living, maybe we hate our apartment, right? We don't like our apartment. The solution is to probably move out of that apartment and find somewhere else. So if we're unhappy with our job, the answer is not to be employed at that job any longer. It's kind of like a no duh, but not really, right? We have to really kind of get our brains wrapped around that. So when our spouse asks for a divorce, our landlord says she's selling the building and we have to move out, or we get fired from our job, that is actually the gift of the number nine. So we have to situate ourselves and look at it that way. The problem is that it's oftentimes really doesn't feel like a gift at the time. It's something that you get to go through. So understand that you get to experience two number nine personal months this year. The next is going to show up at the end of the year in December. So it's going to be interesting to see if there are any parallels, maybe some similar thematics that are playing out right now, and how they show up at the end of the year. So kind of keep that in your back pocket or in your little file folder in your brain. So overall, March is a perfect time to become more open to other possibilities and ways of thinking. So it's bound to deliver some moments where you can surrender to the flow rather than fight against it. So that is your forecast for March. I'm wishing you a very happy spring. Bring it on, right? I think we're all ready for it. And I'm looking forward to meeting you here next month, same time, same channel for your April forecast. I'm really looking forward to seeing you then. Have a wonderful month.